Hello.
We are back. Welcome back to User-Naut Found, the father-son podcast where we discuss history, mysteries, and all things scientific.
Mhm.
Jacoby, what's on your mind today?
Let's see. I recently had a dream. I think I told you about it like 2 days ago, or
Hmm.
maybe a little bit ago. I don't remember, but I also had a dream. Another one. I'll tell them. It was a lucid one.
Okay.
It was cool. So I was in like a cyberpunk like city, kind of like the one you were talking about a little bit, but I was in like a room in a big city, and I was with one of my friends, and I realized it was a lucid dream, like normally. But then I was like talking to him about it, almost like if he knew too. Like he wouldn't just like ignore me and stuff. He would be like, "Oh, that's kind of cool. What can you do and stuff?" He would talk like he was like another person in the dream, like a multiplayer.
Yeah, that's I've had that experience. So how did you realize you were in a lucid dream?
I honestly don't know. Yeah, I don't know how I realized, but I do know that he acted like not like just a random like made up person. He acted like a real person, like what I said, like multiplayer. And
Yeah.
I was in the dream and I was playing. No, not playing. I was playing around with like what I could do and stuff. I was like flying around the city. But what the thing that was cool, I had this like little device in my hand, and I could like press it and like switch dreams.
Whoa.
Like I could press a button and then I could go into. I remember me going into like the Simpsons world. I remember that.
That's super interesting. Lucid dreams are one of the more interesting parts of our subconscious and our dreaming. A lot of people practice for years and years to be able to lucid dream.
Just once.
And yeah, just once, people have been trying for years just to realize they're in a dream. So that's why I was kind of asking you how you found out you were in a dream. For me, I know that when I was around your age is when I started lucid dreaming, and I would dream that I was in an airport and on vacation. I'm sorry, not in an airport, but on vacation with my parents, and then realized that I never went to an airport. I never packed luggage. All of a sudden, I'm on vacation with my parents. Oh, this must be a dream, and that's when I would start to do whatever I wanted in the dream.
Yeah, for me it's not really like that. For me it's more I just kind of realize all of a sudden. I don't really know why. It's just like doing something. I'm like, oh, yep, I'm in a dream.
Yeah, that happens sometimes to me too, where I'll just realize, oh, I'm in a dream, and then I can usually what I'll start to do is meditate right away, so I
Same,
get
yeah.
a little bit deeper into the dream, a little more control of the dream, and I get a little bit more lucid, if that makes
Mm.
sense. Because have you ever had it to where you're in a lucid dream and whatever's going on is going on? You're running around on some alien planet or you're in a cyberpunk city, and then the dream starts to take over again. If you don't keep that focus of what it is your intention is, the dream takes over again, and then you tend to just go back into a regular dream.
Yeah, sometimes for me, what happens is I feel my body starting to wake up. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in a dream, but I'm thinking about it almost too hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm thinking like way too in depth into it instead of just like doing what I should do, just meditate and then just do stuff. I'm like thinking, whoa, I'm in my bed, and I'm thinking more about the outside world than the
Mm-hmm.
inside.
Yeah.
And I like feel me going out of the dream. Sometimes I just stop right there if I'm feeling that. Just meditate just to stay in for a little bit longer.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you catch a wave and you're surfing and you want to stay on that wave. If you lean one side or the other too much, you're going to fall off that wave and you're not going to keep surfing it. Whereas you can also think yourself out of a dream to where you start to feel your body in your bed, and then you're like, oh, I'm waking up. I need to either sit down and be quiet for a second and just fall back asleep, let my body fall back asleep while my mind stays awake, and stay into this lucid dream. And then you can do a lot of things. For you, you're at the age where you just want to fly around. You want to have fun. You want to see what's available for you to manipulate.
And I do that sometimes, but I also have to think that I'm in this state now, and I do need to calm myself down and be like really excited. Because most people, when they get their first lucid dream, they get really excited and try to do like everything, but you can't like do it all of a sudden. Like if it's your first lucid dream, you can't like fly and then shoot fireballs and then do all that stuff and like it's the exact same.
Yeah. You're not
Yeah.
doing Hadouken Street Fighter moves on your first try. You're It's more of a big deal to even just realize, look at your hands, remind yourself that you're dreaming, but you have control of it. Um, in your first few, and then you can explore other things. And there's, I feel like I've been able to do through lucid dreaming a lot of delving into my own subconscious. Do you know what the subconscious is?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, well, just to give you like a reminder, we have our everyday mind that me and you are talking in right now. That's just your conscious level, and then you have your brain has stored memories throughout the day that are always storing things away that might be important for the future, right? And it remembers those things whether you do in your conscious mind or not. You have those things stored in your subconscious brain, and I think it's more of a primal, probably more of a primal function that we had as early humans, where we had to protect ourselves, and we had to remember perhaps certain plants, or we had to remember what was poisonous, what was edible, things along those lines, and it was set for danger. But now, we're not really in a dangerous society, so we tend to just
We're not.
remind
Yeah,
ourselves.
we're not really like in the wild, and we need to know. Oh, like I what I heard is like if you like your brain, it makes red things look more attractive to your mind because
Mm.
red normally means in the wild like fruit, things you can eat. So your brain made it so red is more like brings you in, and it like you see something red, you look at it.
That is super cool. That would make sense because people always want that shiny red car. People
Hmm.
always talk about, the brand new red car. Or I remember I just loved everything red as a kid. I wanted red popsicles and red candy and cherry everything. It would just happen to be my favorite. And I feel like that's the same for a lot of kids. I wonder if that has anything to do with that, where we're just um,
But also,
attracted to red.
yeah, that is too. But also, I thought about, it's just cause it's fruit punch and everybody likes fruit punch flavor.
That's true. The flavor is good, but
But like the color itself,
the
it just
color
makes.
just makes kids want to eat it.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
cause if you're in the wild and you're low on hunger and you need to eat, you see if you see something red, like a bunch of green and then something red, you go to that because it could be apple, it could be cherries, it could be anything edible that's red.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of things. So yeah, that would be something that was stored away in your subconscious. That I'm attracted to red things and I don't know why. Because there's nothing I can consciously put to it. This is why I like red things. And so that's one example. But in modern society where we don't have all these dangers, but we still store a bunch of things in our mind, I think it makes people have a lot of anxiety.
Hmm.
And people they're constantly in fight or flight, which is how your brain deals with danger. Um, have you ever heard of the limbic system of your brain? Okay, so the limbic system is the part of your brain that regulates your response to danger, or your response to relaxation and digestion. So when you're relaxed, you can digest your food, and that's your relaxed state of mind. And when you're in danger, your adrenaline goes up. Your brain's telling your body to do a bunch of stuff to keep you safe, and
Hmm.
that's fight or flight. And people have different responses. So like if I were to jump scare you right now, and I were like, "Boo," you know, are you gonna freeze up or are you gonna punch me?
Well,
That's what it is.
well, my cousin did. My cousin, he recently did that. I was coming back inside. I was putting away something. He comes in. He's behind the stairs. He jump scares me. I like back up for a second. I'm like, ah! He actually scared me. I'm like, Jack, why'd
Yeah.
you do that? Like, why'd you do that? But I mean, yeah, he was kind of far, so I couldn't like go up to them. But boom,
Boom,
and I
right.
realized it before like
Oh, so you
anything.
almost punched your
No, no,
4-year-old
no,
cousin?
I didn't. But if it was something that was actually danger, I wasn't close enough to do anything. I was
Okay.
like a couple feet away.
But
But
when
it,
you feel it in your when you take yourself back to that moment where your cousin jump scared you, did you have to hold back from punching him and realize that it was your cousin?
I just had to realize that it was him, but I didn't have to hold back from punching.
Okay.
I just had to hold back from just like
Okay.
yelling.
So the responses are fight, flight, or freeze. You do one of those.
I
You
froze.
froze. Okay. Well, that's a response.
No, it was a mix of yell and freeze. I got.
And
Like
so that's a part of your nervous system, your brain. Your brain is connected to a bunch of neurons that go through your brain and then go through all of your nerves in your body, and that's called your nervous system. And that has a couple different modes. You've got sympathetic, and then you've got parasympathetic, and those are the two responses that you have to when you're in digestion and relaxation. I think that's the parasympathetic. And then if you're in fight, flight, or freeze, that's your sympathetic. And that's all part of your limbic system. So I'd say that just to say that in today's society, I think a lot of people tend to be in that anxious state. They tend to not take a moment, relax, and let their body regulate their emotions. And that's through their subconscious. And what I have found with my own lucid dreaming is that I've been able to regulate that with the work that I do while I'm lucid dreaming. And it's translated into my life by being a more relaxed person, by not being so reactive. I can still get jump scared. Like if somebody jumps
when
behind
you
me,
play,
I'm
you
like,
play
it happened to me
five,
the other
yeah,
day.
like playing a scary game, and like all of a sudden you get jump scared.
It just
But what I just thought, it kind of brings back to the attracting red.
yeah,
Back if you're in the wild, and you're in the Amazon or something. There lives dangerous things in there too, like snakes and stuff.
hmm
What I thought is like, or a tiger or something. A tiger or bear comes out of nowhere, and it like scares you. Your body reacts to scream to scare it away too. Like
right,
ah.
right. Yeah, you're screaming. You're not screaming because you're consciously like, oh, I'm gonna scare you, big bear. You're screaming because it scares you, but that might be a subconscious response to scream because it worked in the past when a bear was in the forest
You
running
see
after you.
it, and then you scream, but
Yeah.
then also gets it away because it's
That's a really,
intimidated.
really good example. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's something that we evolved to scream when we're scared because it helped protect us.
Mhm.
Yeah. And so, these modes of your mind have a purpose, and it's important to not, to not want to always be relaxed. And that's another thing is like, what's the solution to people in modern times having a lot of anxiety and being super on edge, or just being depressed in general? Well, they medicate them so they don't have to feel those emotions, but those emotions are important. And I think that there's other ways. And for me, the way that I've done a lot of my own therapy, I'm not, obviously not a medical professional or anybody who's advising anybody, but for me, it's really worked. And I've been able to heal from within. And I think that's a really important part of everybody's journey, is to be able to
But
heal
what
from
did
within.
you do?
Okay, good question. So, when I realized that I was lucid dreaming as a kid, I would talk to a lot of people as well. And just like you started talking to, that random person in your dream, letting them know that, hey, you're just a dream.
He was
You're
like, no, I'm not. I'm a person.
not. And then I realized that response of no, I'm not. I'm a person too, was because everything inside of the dream was a reflection of myself. And
Mhm.
so every character that I would come across was a piece of myself, a piece of my subconscious or conscious mind. And through conversations with the people in my dreams, I was able to get insight on things in my life and other parts, maybe like scary things. So one thing that I would start to do is like, you see scary things in your dreams once in a while, right?
Yeah.
Well, what I realized was if I told that scary part, that scary thing, which was probably just a part of myself that I didn't like, that I loved it, it would not it would go from not scary to and it, to like
Something
some excuse me,
not
it would go
scary.
from scary to not scary.
Yeah. Like if you tell it maybe, or like let's say you're in a dream and something's chasing you and you're scared. If you tell it like, so that's like the more, let's just say what I think you're saying is that's the scary thing is
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
your scary part. I don't really know how to explain it, but the part of your mind that is scared, like
Yeah,
kind of like that one movie Inside Out. It's got the
exactly.
emotions,
Exactly.
and if you tell it something or say something that makes you happy or makes you feel comfort, it go away because now it's being
Yeah.
overpowered by
Yeah,
something else.
yeah, it's being overpowered. It's being accepted. I'll give you an example. So one time I had a dream that I was going down into a scary, scary basement. It just looked like a 100-year-old basement with all of these cobwebs and
Very
the
scary.
very scary lighting. And in the middle, like almost with the spotlight on it, was a one of those talking puppets,
Oh,
ventriloquist
I
puppet.
think of
It was a
I thought of
doll.
furries.
Yeah, oh, no, it wasn't. That's a different kind of dream. No, I'm kidding.
Alright.
Uh, it was a ventriloquist doll, but a female ventriloquist doll with long hair, and she turns around and she looks at me and she's like, just starts staring at me. And I realize I look down and I have a knife in my hand, and I put it up to her head, and I'm holding it next to her head, and just like holding back from stabbing it, and just being like, and then in that moment realizing that this anger was coming from fear, and then I stopped myself from doing it, and I gave it a kiss on the head, and I said I love you. And in that moment, the entire dream shifted. Like it went from like this dark, dingy basement to this street on like Sesame Street, but Brooklyn with graffiti everywhere and like really bright
That's
and
kind of
really
cool.
beautiful.
Mhm.
And Obi-Wan Kenobi was waiting on the other side. And
Obi-Wan.
I'm dead serious. This happened.
I did not expect Obi-Wan
Obi-Wan
Kenobi to be in
Kenobi
this.
was there in my
I would think
dream.
you were gonna say like a spray paint artist or something. No,
Yeah,
Obi-Wan
no,
Kenobi.
but it was in front of a train car. Like picture like almost a cartoonish bright train car with like all of this graffiti, like big burners across the front, like incredible lettering, and then Obi-Wan Kenobi standing there
Yeah.
calmly in front of it, saying, "Okay, so this is your next lesson." And he started teaching me about telekinesis and manipulation
Mhm.
in that dream. So it was almost like a test, or that I had to love part of myself in order to gain access to this other part of myself that that had a lot of treasure. So that's what I think is really important. What I get the most out of lucid dreaming. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like, and you had another one of those just recently about, teaching inside Lucid Dream, flying and the symbols and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you get like personal lessons, and you like, yeah, in dreams, you get personal, like, private lessons,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
about life
I
and
do,
stuff.
about life, about uh life in general, or sometimes I'll get messages about, things that I'm doing wrong or things that I'm doing right, or I mean sometimes really specific strange downloads of, what I need to do. And those get weird, but I'm not going to get into that right now because I don't know if you or our audience is ready to hear like all of like the depths of what where I go. And I know you are because we've talked about this stuff. But there's a certain amount of privacy that I want to keep with some of the things that I have.
And
And
the YouTube people and stuff.
yeah, I
They,
think YouTube people could probably use this information as well. But there's like I know that there's a certain belief system, and that belief system is sometimes people's own belief in what they can achieve in their own lives. And when you're presenting some people with what you've been able to achieve with your life and how you got that information, um, they tend to not believe it. And so I do intend on divulging like what we're able to do and what we've been gifted with, but I don't think I'm ready. Maybe it's me that's not ready to divulge that to the world or to the internet with our followers or hopefully this reaches a lot of people, because I really think it is important information for people to help themselves a little bit, not rely so much on the pharmaceutical system or the expensive therapy system. Although therapy, I think, is valid and has a lot of uses, I think that it shouldn't stop there, and people should go
Yeah.
and delve within.
Well, it looks like it's 20 minutes.
Cool. Well, we talked about a lot of lucid dreaming today. Um, I really hope everybody enjoyed this. And I hope you guys have your own adventures in at night when you go to bed. I think everybody should at least attempt to look into lucid dreaming and seeing what you can achieve with your own subconscious.
Yeah.
All right, big love. Thanks for listening. Take care. Have a great week.